Peanut Butter and Jelly, Scooby and Shaggy, Bert and Ernie. The Dark Horde and the Black Dragonflight. This power couple's combined might plays a huge role in the endgame of Classic WoW. So join me as we discover the origins of how they became the foreboding threat we know of today.
Let the games begin.
Our story starts in the Second War. The Horde just totally destroyed Stormwind in the First War, and they are in the middle of a great conflict between the Alliance. The Horde would have been an unstoppable force, but the civil unrest between the clans and the betrayal of Gul'dan allowed the Alliance to gain the upper hand and slowly but surely turn the tide of war in their favor. The Horde used Blackrock Mountain as a base of operations, and this is where the final battle of the war took place. Orgrim Doomhammer, War Chief of the Horde, faced off against Anduin Lothar, Supreme Commander of the Alliance, in a mighty battle. Orgrim was captured, and the Horde ultimately got their butts kicked and were pushed all the way back to the Dark Portal and back to their home world of Draenor. But a few remnants of the Horde lingered around Azeroth, plotting to strike once again. Rend and Maim, both sons of the former Warchief Blackhand, were the leaders of the Blacktooth Grin clan. To show how badass these guys really are, the clan originally served the purpose of being scouts for the Blackrock clan, and in order to join it, each member needs to have one of their own teeth knocked out. So yeah, that's the kind of orcs we're dealing with. Rend and Maim remained on Azeroth after the Second War was ended, and gathered the few remnants of the Blackrock clan and other scattered groups. Groups like the Smolderthorn, Firetree, Spirestone, and Dragonmaw clan, who pledged their loyalty to their cause. The Dragonmaw was probably their most formidable ally. During the Second War, the Dragonmaw clan was assisted by Deathwing, a powerful dragon who was the leader of the Black Dragonflight.
Come chase me.
He lent them their aid by leading them to a powerful artifact called the Dragon Soul, which was guarded by a red dragon named Oristraz. They killed him and corrupted the Dragon Soul with warlocky energies and renamed it the Demon Soul. With this relic, they could enslave any dragonflights, and the orcs of the Dragonmaw clan used the Demon Soul to enslave Alexstrasza and her red dragonflight to use her children in battle.
Slay them all!
In Rend and Maim's eyes, this misfit group of clans was the true Horde. A group of depraved, barbaric demon worshippers who would not stop fighting the Second War until all of their enemies fell in their wake. Their numbers might have been few, but their bloodlust made them a great threat. This was the Dark Horde. Hey, Rend. Hey, open up. Hey, Rend. Just one of the orcs back from Draenor, wondering if you could help us out a bit. We really need some help. Rend? Rend? Years pass, and the Dark Portal is opened once again. Emissaries from Draenor asked for the Dark Horde's aid, along with their enslaved red dragons. Rend refused. In their eyes, all the orcs who fled back to Draenor were a bunch of punk-ass bitches who run away from a real fight. Not long after, though, the Dark Horde found an even greater ally.
Son of a bitch!
Nefarian, son of Deathwing, offered to aid the Dark Horde in their struggle. Help them kill Alliance? He could do that. Help them fight back against the Dark Iron Dwarves within the mountain? No problem. Give them some kick-ass mounts? You got it.
Slay them all!
In exchange for their aid, Nefarian was given the upper reaches of the Spire to mold into his very own lair. But more on that later. Also, at some point during this whole time, Main Blackhand died fighting some dwarfs. Ouch. This is where we're at in Classic. The Dark Horde and the Black Dragonflight have teamed up and have fully taken over the Spire of the mountain. The lower part of the Spire is where many of the Blackrock orcs and other small clans reside. It's kinda just a really dirty part of the Spire that Overlord Wormthalak is the taskmaster of. What is important about this place, though, is this is where we first meet Valistraz. When we see him, he's in his human form with the name Valen, and he's made it his sworn duty to put a stop to Nefarian and his, well, nefarious acts, and helps players craft the Seal of Ascension to get into the upper reaches of the Spire. To craft the seal, you need gems from 3 different bosses in the lower Blackrock Spire, and have it be casted in flame by a member of the Black Dragonflight. Of course, none of them would be willing to do that, so you're sent on a quest to travel all the way over to Deathwillow Marsh to mind control a dragon named Emberstrife and do it yourself. With the Seal of Ascension, players can now go into the upper reaches of the Spire. Do you have the seal? Of course. Step back. It didn't work. Oops! Looks like I couldn't seal the deal. Too many cooks and many cooks. In the upper part of the Spire, we can see a lot more cooperation between the dragons and the orcs. You've got your warlocks harvesting power from elementals, hatcheries for the black dragons, and the Blackrock Stadium, where players can fight against War Chief Rend Blackhand themselves.
We are the true Horde!
Ren fights players on a chromatic dragon called Gith, who was created by Nefarian, which we'll discuss a bit later. Players succeed in killing Rend. Meanwhile, Nefarian is watching the whole time like some evil Sunday cartoon villain. In fact, his human name is Victor Nefarious, which is probably the most cartoony name a villain could have. And instead of killing players right there, he just goes, "Oh, dang it, I'll get you meddling heroes some other time." And then he just kind of walks away. The Beast resides in the upper part of the Spire and is one of Ragnaros' minions who has been captured. And he also has a gnome in his stomach.
Oh, I've been inside that thing for months.
The Beast is a card in Hearthstone, and its description says it best when it writes, "He lives in Blackrock Mountain. He eats gnomes." That's pretty much it. The last boss is General Drakasath, who doesn't really have any lore, and he's just some dragon spawn general. But, speaking of dragon spawn, Blackwing Lair is where the true threat is, and where Nefarian is up to his dastardly deeds. The main reason why Nefarian wanted to ally with the Dark Horde was so he could make the Spire of the Mountain his lair where he could experiment with creating the chromatic dragonflight. You see, dragons are kind of like Skittles in the WoW universe. You got the green ones, you got the red ones, the blue, the bronze, and the black ones. And Nefarian wanted to make some dragons that could really taste the rainbow, and attempted to combine all of them together to make the ultimate dragons, aka the chromatic dragons. This artificial meddling of magic is why Valistraz wants him dead, and he bum rushes into the place before we even get there, and is corrupted by Nefarian. So sadly, we have to kill him. A lot of other bosses are just dragons and underlings of Nefarian that don't really have any lore significance, but Chromagus is an interesting one. He's like a core hound, but with dragon heads, so it's theorized that he was originally a core hound that had some experimenting done to him to turn him into the unique dragon core hound hybrid thingy we know of today. Once the lair is cleared out, we get to fight the true Lord of Blackrock.
Ah, the heroes. You are persistent, aren't you? Let the games begin.
Burn, you wretches! Burn!
The Nefarian fight is probably the most unique fight in classic WoW. Every player must have a cloak crafted from the scales of Onyxia, Nefarian's sister, so they can resist his damaging ability called Shadow Flame. Also, during the fight, he'll do random class calls that radically hinder some classes' abilities to be useful. So for example, Priest Healing now hurts people. Mages turn other raid members into giraffes, cows, and worms. And Hunter's weapons just randomly break. It's a crazy ass fight, and lore-wise, it's the Horde who claim victory over Blackrock Spire and put an end to Nefarian's plans. Well, until he comes back in Cataclysm, where he's a zombie dragon. And that's the end of the video. Just to let you guys know, I have a Patreon where you can pledge only $1 a month to see some behind the scenes videos, and also some other rewards as well. I also have a Twitter where I post exclusive content, and I have a Discord, and I'm going to start Twitch streaming in the coming weeks, and all of these links are going to be in the description, so check them out. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to see content just like this. Thank you so much, and goodbye.